You are Alan Turing, and inside this noisy wooden hut, the fate of thousands of men in the cold North Atlantic rests on a single, silent moment. The sound that has dominated your life for months, the frantic, clattering whirl of electromechanical relays, has just stopped. A young woman from the Women's Royal Naval Service, a Wren, turns from the towering black machine and looks directly at you. The machine, your creation, has found a possible answer, a single path through a maze of 159 quintillion dead ends. This could be the key to breaking the German U-boat codes. Or it could be another false alarm, another day lost while the wolfpacks hunt Allied convoys in the dark. Here is how you arrived at this moment. You are a mathematician. This has always been your truth. As a boy, you see the world not as a collection of objects but as a system of patterns, a language of logic waiting to be read. You fill notebooks with complex equations, seeing a beauty in them that others reserve for art or music. You arrive at King's College, Cambridge, a place of intellectual freedom that feels like home. You are an outsider, socially awkward, more comfortable with abstract concepts than with small talk. You run for miles, your mind churning through problems as your body pushes its limits. In 1936, at just 24 years old, you publish a paper titled On Computable Numbers. In it, you imagine a theoretical machine, a simple device capable of performing any conceivable mathematical computation. It becomes known as a Turing machine, the foundational concept of the modern computer. You have, on paper, invented the digital age. Then, the world changes. In September 1939, Britain declares war on Germany. The very next day, you receive a summons. You are to report to a secret location known only as Station X. You arrive at Bletchley Park, a sprawling Victorian estate in the Buckinghamshire countryside. It is an unlikely headquarters for Britain's most secret war effort. The government code and cipher school is a strange mix of brilliant academics, chess grandmasters, linguists, and military officers. You are all housed in hastily constructed wooden huts, heated by potbelly stoves, the air thick with cigarette smoke and intellectual pressure. Your mission is singular, and it is considered impossible. You must break the German Enigma code. The Enigma machine, you learn, is an electromechanical marvel of encryption. When an operator types a letter, a complex series of rotors and an electric plug board substituted for another. The result is a seemingly random scramble of characters. With 3 rotors chosen from a box of 5, each of which can be set in 26 positions, and a plug board with 10 cables connecting pairs of letters, the number of possible daily settings is astronomical. It is more than 150 quintillion. To make matters worse, the settings are changed every day at midnight. Even if you break the code for one message, you have less than 24 hours before the entire system resets, and you must start from scratch. The German military believes, with good reason, that Enigma is absolutely unbreakable. You are not starting from nothing. You learn that Polish cryptanalysts from the Cipher Bureau, Marian Rejewski, Jerzy Rajicki, and Henryk Zagalski, achieved the impossible before the war. They had broken an earlier version of Enigma. Just weeks before the invasion of Poland, they shared their entire methodology, their replica machines, and their findings with British and French intelligence. It is the single greatest intelligence gift of the war. But the Germans have improved Enigma, adding more rotors and increasing its complexity. The Polish methods no longer work on their own. You are assigned to Hut 8, with the responsibility for breaking German naval Enigma. This is the most crucial and the most difficult of all. In the Atlantic, German U-boats are hunting in wolf packs, sinking ships carrying vital food, fuel, and supplies to Britain. If the U-boats sever this lifeline, Britain will be starved into submission. The men in Hut 8 work with the grim knowledge that every day they fail, more ships are lost, and more lives are extinguished in the icy water. You realize you cannot fight the machine on its own terms. Trying to check every single one of the 159 quintillion settings is futile. A team of codebreakers working for thousands of years could not complete the task. You must think differently. You must build a machine to fight a machine. Your core insight is a rejection of brute force. You don't need to test every wrong answer. You need a logical shortcut to find the one right answer. The key, you reason, is human error. The Germans are disciplined, but they are also human. They use predictable phrases in their messages. A weather report sent at the same time every day will almost certainly contain the word wetter for weather. A sign-off might include Heil Hitler. This predictable text is called a crib. If you can guess a likely, you have a thread to pull. You devise a machine that can test that thread. Working with fellow mathematician Gordon Welshman, who develops a crucial improvement, you design an electromechanical device. It stands 6 feet tall and 7 feet wide, a tangled mass of wires and dozens of color-coded spinning drums that replicate the Enigma rotors. You name it the Bombe. The Bombe does not decrypt the message. It performs a different, more brilliant task. When fed a crib, the Bombe chugs through all the possible rotor settings that could produce it, looking for a logical contradiction. When it finds a setting that does not result in a contradiction, it stops. This stop provides a small set of possible Enigma settings for the day. A team of codebreakers can then test these few possibilities manually, find the correct one, and begin deciphering every German message sent on that day. The first bombs are installed in early 1940. They are operated primarily by the Wrens, who work in deafeningly loud, windowless rooms, plugging in cables and resetting the heavy drums. They know only that their work is vital. They do not know what the stops mean. You often stand in the bomb rooms, a silent, socially awkward figure, observing your creation. The noise is immense, the sound of 1,000 knitting needles clicking in unison, the sound of pure logic being applied to chaos. Each click is a possibility being tested and discarded. You wait for the one moment that matters, the silence of a stop. By 1942, your work has turned the tide in the Battle of the Atlantic. U-boat positions are being pinpointed, convoys are being rerouted, and hunter-killer groups are sinking German submarines. The advantage is real, but it is fragile. In February 1942, the advantage vanishes. The U-boat command introduces a new 4-rotor Enigma machine, codenamed Shark, at Bletchley Park. Suddenly, the naval messages go dark. The 3-rotor bombs are useless against it. The U-boats are invisible again, and Allied shipping losses skyrocket. The period becomes known as the second happy time for the German U-boat crews. For you, it is a disaster. The pressure is immense. For 10 agonizing months, Hut 8 is blind. You work relentlessly, developing new statistical methods to attack the Shark cipher. One technique, which you name Bomberismus, involves analyzing the frequency of letter pairs to reduce the number of possible rotor settings before even using the bomb. It is complex, intuitive, and brilliant. Then, in December 1942, after a British ship captures codebooks from a sinking U-boat, you finally have the break you need. A modified bomb running with your new theories is set to the task. This is the moment. You stand in the blockhouse as the machine whirs. Hours pass. The operators watch, waiting. Then it happens. The clatter stops. The machine has found a setting without contradiction. A Wren operator calls out the position. A wave of focused energy surges through the hut. The potential key is rushed to the decryptors. They set their own Type X machine, a British equivalent of Enigma, to the settings indicated by the bomb. They type in the first few letters of a captured German naval intercept. Out of the machine comes not gibberish, but German. Clear, readable German. You have done it. You have broken Shark. The U-boat blackout is over. In that moment, you know that somewhere in the vast, dark ocean, a convoy has just been made visible, a U-boat has just been exposed, and lives have just been saved. You feel not elation but a quiet, profound sense of mathematical certainty. The war continues, and your methods become ruthlessly efficient. By 1945, over 200 bombs are in operation, deciphering thousands of messages a day. The intelligence they provide, codenamed Ultra, is decisive not just in the Atlantic, but in every theater of the war, from the deserts of North Africa to the beaches of Normandy. Historians will later estimate that your work shortened the war by at least 2 years, saving millions of lives. When the war ends, an order is given. The entire Bletchley Park operation is to be erased from history. The bombs are to be dismantled. All records are to be burned. You and the 10,000 other people who worked at Station X are bound by the Official Secrets Act. You are forbidden, under penalty of treason, from ever speaking about what you have done. Your greatest life's work must become a secret you carry to the grave. You leave Bletchley and return to the world of pure mathematics and the future you once imagined. You helped design the automatic computing engine, one of the world's first stored program computers. You move to the University of Manchester, where you work on the software for another early computer, the Manchester Mark I. You become fascinated by mathematical biology, writing papers on how simple chemical reactions can create the complex patterns of nature, like the spots on a leopard. You are building the future, but you are still an outsider. In 1952, you report a burglary at your home. During the police investigation, you acknowledge that you are in a relationship with a man, Arnold Murray. Homosexual acts are a criminal offense in the United Kingdom. You are arrested and charged with gross indecency, the same crime that destroyed Oscar Wilde a half-century earlier. You do not deny the charge. You see no logical reason to. You are convicted. The court gives you a choice. You can go to prison for 2 years, or you can submit to organotherapy, a program of chemical castration. To avoid prison, you agree. You begin a year-long course of injections of the synthetic estrogen diethylstilbestrol. The treatment is physically and psychologically devastating. The conviction also means the end of your government work. Your security clearance is immediately revoked. You are now considered a security risk. The state you helped save now deems you untrustworthy. On June 7, 1954, you died too. Your body is discovered by your housekeeper. An inquest determines the cause of death is cyanide poisoning, and the verdict is suicide. You are 41 years old. For decades, your story is a ghost. Your name is known only in the quiet halls of mathematics and computer science. The secret of Bletchley Park holds. It is not until the 1970s that the first official accounts of the code-breaking operation are declassified. Slowly, the world begins to understand what you and your colleagues accomplished in those wooden huts. The recognition comes in waves, long after you are gone. In 2009, British Prime Minister Gordon Brown issues an official public apology for the appalling way he was treated. In 2013, you receive a posthumous royal pardon from Queen Elizabeth II. That's the story of Alan Turing. The work at Bletchley Park was so secret that Winston Churchill referred to its staff as the geese that laid the golden eggs and never cackled. Subscribe to Enlighten Me for more.